to Easter in New York. I tell you, we've been doing this production for quite a number of years, and we're just excited that we can come on Resurrection Sunday and talk about the goodness of God. Hallelujah. Somebody who knows that he rose from the dead ought to lift your voices and shout, hallelujah. He arose. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Indeed, we give him glory. Indeed, we give him glory. And my charge and challenge to all of you as you're watching and wherever you are is you got to look in your own life and begin to determine, where is it in my life that I need to experience some resurrection? How many know that in all of us there is room? Somebody said there's room. There is room for some resurrection. Let me just quickly say that as we reflect, the new report for the economic state of Black New York just came out, published by the New York Christian Times, and there's some good news and some not so good news. I say good news and great hope, and the good news is, watch this. In 1990, according to the United States Census. And everybody got to understand this and apply these numbers. It was noted that blacks graduated from high school at about 66%. That means that there was about a 34% dropout rate. Last year, ladies and gentlemen, the same U.S. Census reported that 85% graduated from high school. I don't know about you, but I'm excited because somebody say there's hope. There's hope. So here's the great hope. When we look at the numbers as it relates to college, whereby Asians graduate at about 51% and whites at 31%, relatively low, reasonable numbers. Blacks only graduated college at 21%. So the great hope is that we got to get to work to make sure that we not only get more blacks into college, but we get them to graduate. This is really about us supporting the United Negro College Fund. The website is on your screen, uncf.org. org, and I want to charge and challenge everyone. Let's make sure that we're supporting. We want you to begin to send in your checks and do whatever we need to do to support the United Negro College Fund. And by the way, on that note, I want to introduce the Vice President for the United Negro College Fund, doing some awesome work here in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Fred Mitchell.
On April 25th, UNCF, United Negro College Fund, will celebrate its 73rd anniversary in supporting private historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, many of which were founded by churches at a time when college options for black Americans was extremely limited. Dr. Frederick D. Patterson and other educators such as Mary Bethune founded UNCF while Dr. Patterson was the president of what is now Tuskegee University. He had a vision that at that time the 27 private African American colleges could raise more money together than they could apart. Today, or that first campaign, UNCF raised $700,000. As we sit here today, UNCF has raised more than $4.5 billion, has assisted more than 430,000 primarily young African American men and women to complete college and become part of today's community. Today, UNCF dispenses over $1 million in scholarships each year to approximately 10,000 low-income students, attending over 1,100 colleges and universities across the country, enabling these people to get to and through college. We provide critical operating support to 37 private historically black colleges, schools like Morehouse, Spelman, Claflin, Tuskegee. And we do it so they can keep their tuitions 26% lower than most other colleges of their type. It's very important that we continue this work. Our students, as Dr. Dillon said, need to be able to go to college, pay for college, and come back to our community and be thriving citizens here in New York City and around the country. I encourage you tonight to think about the messages you hear and consider supporting UNCF. And remember, a mind, say it with me, is a terrible, terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Thank you very much.
Touro College and Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine are proud to support the United Negro College Fund. We stand side by side the UNCF in their mission to enhance the lives of those who are underrepresented in education. I'm Dr. Nadeze Dady, and I'm the Dean of Students. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students, I express our excitement in being a 2017 sponsor of the UNCF.
New York City, electric, alive, with a pulse that's unmistakable. You can feel it on every train, at every turnstile, underground, over water, in the classrooms, offices, and bridges. And behind every beat of New York's massive heart, a municipal worker is busy doing something essential. They serve, they protect. They are the heart of New York City. And this is where they bank.
There's some people that will want us to forget where we've come from. Our newly appointed Secretary of Education, Miss Betsy DeVos, was in her Senate hearings and her confirmation, and they asked her, they said, did you ever pay to go to school? She said, no, I never did. They said, have you ever had to take out a loan? She said, no, I never did. My question was, how do you know how to connect with people that struggle to go to school when you've never had to do it yourself? And then she suggested that school choice, that the founding of historically black colleges and universities was a matter of school choice, that they decided that they would choose a way for themselves. And the reality is that we started the HBCUs not because of school choice, but it was because we didn't have a choice. But thank God, through everything that we went through, our people, as the late great preacher, that sage of the gospel, Dr. Gardner C. Taylor, said that those slaves that still had the smell of slavery in their clothes, somehow they managed to pick themselves up and said that we can train our hands, like Booker T. Washington said, and we can train our minds, like W.E.B. Du Bois said, that we can do both. Thank God that we never lost our mind, because our mind is the seat of our emotions, and the mind is the seat of our experiences. And we can reach back on our experiences and remember where God has brought us from.
You've probably heard a lot about reverse mortgages from celebrities and gotten calls from companies all around the country.
I'm Steve from Perry Funding, and we are your neighbors.
We can sit with you and explain all the benefits of a reverse mortgage.
If you're a homeowner 62 years or older, then you can use a government-insured reverse mortgage as a safe, effective financial tool that allows you to stay in your home and to turn your equity into tax-free cash without any monthly mortgage payments.
Call us at 516-900-1500.
Perry Funding can help you live a better life.
Son that's in college, so I am just excited. Can somebody say excited? I'm excited because I was watching TV the other night, and I was watching one of the slave movies, and I looked at how they had to sneak and write, how they had to sing songs and able to cross through and cross over. Isn't it something that we are here today in 2017, and we have the right to go to any school, any university, any college that we want to? And I know it's been said that if you want to put something away, or you want to hide something from us, put it in a book. But let me say it to somebody out here today. We are reading books. We want to be able to know how we can make it to the end. Am I right about it? And so I am so glad we did come with an offering. It is in my seat in an envelope, but we're so glad because we want to join with the United Negro College Fund, Christian Times, also the Memorial Baptist Church, Eastwood Missionary Baptist Church, and so many other churches that are here today to come together and to do what God has called us to do. The Word of God says, study to show thyself approved unto God. So we are going to study so we can show ourselves approved. Am I right about it? Because the Lord is good. It's Easter morning, Easter Sunday morning, and so we're glad that he got up. He got up with all power, and because he got up, we can get up. Because he got up, we can stay up. Is the Lord all right? Is the Lord good? Somebody shout, won't he do it? You are worthy of my praise. You are worthy of my praise. The ways you made for me, the doors you opened for me.
York City, electric, alive, with a pulse that's unmistakable. You can feel it on every train, at every turnstile, underground, over water, in the classrooms, offices, and bridges. And behind every beat of New York's massive heart, a municipal worker is busy doing something essential. They serve, they protect. They are the heart of New York City. And this is where they bank.
Welcome back to Easter in New York. Of course, we just took a break from New Jerusalem Worship Center, where, of course, the music, the awesome inspirational word from all the ministers and everyone that's sharing. Grateful for your support. And by the way, the United Negro College Fund, let us support them. If you haven't called your pledge in yet, please do so. I am here with Dr. Nadeze Dady. She is the Dean of Students at Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine, and it is such a pleasure to be with you.
It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, indeed. Tell us a little bit about Touro College and your mission. What are you doing?
Sure. Our mission at Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine is to train osteopathic physicians with an emphasis on practicing in underserved communities. Part of that mission is to increase the number of minorities in medicine. And the reason for that is because the stats of across the nation of minorities going into medicine has remained the same for decades.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow. So it's good that you're on a drive to really increase that. And as we've been talking about, the fact of the matter is that while blacks are graduating at almost the same rate as their counterparts, we're finding that it's not the same when it comes to college. So now we're talking about, a bachelor's, a master's, onto a doctorate degree, which
Correct.
is where you specialize. So what's the focus? What are you doing to bring that about?
So we have a variety of programs, and we work in partnership with the community. We're located in Harlem. We're a member of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce. So the first thing that we do is we've partnered with some of the local high school students. We have an on-site tutoring program that's taught. It's led by our medical students. It's called MedAchieve. The students come to the medical school and to get tutored, and they develop this really nice big brother, big sister relationship with our medical students. We partner with other programs such as Mentoring in Medicine or area health education programs who have the same mission as us, to provide on-site tours, some training in our lab, hands-on experiences, exposure to professors, exposure to professionals, exposure to administrators like myself.
Beautiful. Would you quickly tell us what's osteopathic medicine?
Osteopathic medicine essentially, and I want to dispel a myth, the DO degree is essentially the same as the MD degree, except that students in an osteopathic medical school receive enhanced training, additional training in the osteopathic.
So they actually get more?
Correct. Osteopathic medical manipulation, which stands for OMM. And that's essentially the difference. It's the same 4-year degree, the same foundational sciences, the same clinical experiences. So we train a well-prepared physician.
Beautiful, we thank you. And by the way, the information to connect with Touro College is on your screen. We're headed back over to New Jerusalem Baptist Church as Easter in New York continues. God bless you.
When the earth all around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, when I need a friend, I go to the rock. Where do I go?
Oh, where do I go?
When the storms of life fall, who do I turn to?
Who do I run to?
When the winds of sorrow blow, who do I lean on? In times of tribulation, I go to the rock. I know He's able. I go to the rock. The Lord is the rock of my salvation. The Lord is the stone that the builders rejected. Run to the mountain as the mountains stand by me. When the earth all around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need shelter, when I need a friend, I go to the rock.
It is in fact true that knowledge is a terrible thing to waste, and I must say that is true for valedictorian in my high school class, Promise Academy 2 High School. Currently there, I am taking BARD early college classes, which will give me college credits for college to any college that I choose to pursue. As of now, I am also taking AP classes such as AP Calculus, as well as other subjects. Thank you. It is currently my senior year at Promise Academy, in which Jeffrey Canada and also Miss Ann hold power at, and it's such an honor to speak to you guys about that topic. I currently hold a GPA of 4.2. Thank you. It's been an honor to know that your hard work is recognized and that my hard work is not ignored. So it's such an honor. Thank you. I just want to, as of now, it is senior year for me, so it's time to apply for colleges and scholarships. And I'm hearing back from colleges, especially some prestigious Ivy League colleges, such as Columbia University, Dartmouth, and Harvard. But the colleges that I'm looking for is for Morehouse College. Yes. Additionally, got accepted into Howard University as well. And last but not least, Tennessee State University. And I will be 4th generation attending at that college. So now it's just always been a thing for me. My career goals is to focus on the brain and also the spine, such as neurology and neuroscience. So I want to try my best to give back to Harlem and other black communities such as mine to help and be the best that I can for my community, because they've raised me to be such a great man. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I just want to thank you all for your time. And the one thing I would like to say is the blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge. Thank you.
I want to say to us, because I take this very seriously. I take the education of our children very seriously. It comes from my heart. Miss Tate understands why it comes from my heart. There are some of you here that know why it comes from my heart. Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune said this, and I believe that I am of that generation. And her words were, I cannot rest. I just won't let me rest until every Negro child have the opportunity to receive an education equal to that of their counterparts. It just won't let me rest. And it won't let me rest because I am the daughter of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. I have a passion. She had a burden. I have a burden and a passion to keep our children in school. It hurts me when 85% of our children graduate from high school and only 21% of those children go to college. I have a burden, ladies and gentlemen, that troubles me. What we've got to do, Dr. Thompson, is we just cannot graduate them from high school. We've got to graduate them from high school and then send them to college. And the United Negro College Fund is doing that.
It's critically important that you recognize not just your abilities, but your responsibilities. And our responsibility is for who is coming after us. Every person in this building is required to leave a footprint that somebody can follow in. If you don't, I don't like to say stuff that sounds negative, but if you don't leave a footprint, you've just wasted a life. There's no reason for you to be on the planet. And I'm sorry if it sounds offensive, but sometimes we have to irritate to elevate. So just embrace this. It's not how high you jump when you're in church. It's how straight you walk when you leave church. I don't want to just get us caught up in emotion and you're not in motion. This is what it's about, people of God. I'm happy that my daughter has graduated college. She's yet to find a wonderful husband, but she has a life. She graduated Rutgers University with an accountant's degree. She's bought her own house. She's doing her own thing. But it's important that you recognize what you, and I want to get this in your spirit before we get the offering, because everybody's going to do this today. We're all going to do this. What you see coming is what you're becoming.
Touro College and Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine are proud to support the United Negro College Fund. We stand side by side the UNCF in their mission to enhance the lives of those who are underrepresented in education. I'm Dr. Nadeze Dady, and I'm the Dean of Students. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students, I express our excitement in being a 2017 sponsor of the UNCF.
New York City, electric, alive, with a pulse that's unmistakable. You can feel it on every train, at every turnstile, underground, over water, in the classrooms, offices, and bridges. And behind every beat of New York's massive heart, a municipal worker is busy doing something essential. They serve, they protect. They are the heart of New York City. And this is where they bank.
All right, welcome back to Easter in New York. And again, this special, we're again talking about UNCF, and I want to remind everyone, listen, we want you to participate and get excited about how we support UNCF this year. I'm very happy and delighted to have with us one of the great leaders we have in our country and around the globe, Reverend Al Sharpton. Of course, he is the host of Politics Nation and the president of the National Action Network. Reverend Sharpton, God bless you. Good to have you.
God bless you. Always good to see you.
Well, always good to talk with you. It's important that we talk about education, but why is it so critical, given we've been talking about the gap between blacks graduating from high school going on to college? That percentage is really good. I mean, graduating high school, that's good, but graduating from college, the numbers are really, really low.
No,
what is it that we need to do?
When you look at the fact that there's a 3% gap of blacks graduating high schools as opposed to whites, but there is a much bigger gap. Asians are 20 points ahead of blacks, whites 10 points ahead of blacks. That is why the United Negro College Fund is so important.
Absolutely.
Because you've got to close that gap, and we cannot think that we can do that unintentionally. That's not going to close organically. What UNCF does is really make sure the resources, the projection, and the focus is there on black colleges to close that gap. Our youngsters cannot make it and cannot compete in the world now without some training in college. Absolutely. You know, when I was growing up, you could get by with a high school diploma. You can't do that anymore. And historic black colleges, my daughter went to Hampton, my youngest daughter Ashley. Historic black colleges gives them that cultural kind of awareness and that academic excellence. And in many cases, because we have a lot of us that come from dysfunctional homes like I did, it becomes that family socialization process where you are in a family setting, in a kind of fraternal kind of atmosphere, bathed in your own culture, but will not accept you to do less than your best. Because one of the greatest racist sins is low expectations. UNCF raises the bar on expectations, but they're the key to the resources.
And I think, yeah, you mentioned resources, which is really the point, because my suspicion is that the reason for the gap is really economics.
It's all economics in the elementary part, and we've got to support our own. I remember when President Obama went in and we had the initial meetings, we being some of the heads of civil rights organizations, and we argued with him about supporting HBCUs, and eventually he did. And they ended up over a period of time giving a lot of money into historic black colleges. We didn't have a UNCF, we didn't have people like Charles Lomax, never would have happened. Now we have a new administration. Well, the president has taken a photo with them, but now we want them to give the money. I have nothing against UNCF and the president colleges meet with the president. They're not actors like I do, but that's their job. But we don't want the photo op not to reflect with money. But we don't need President Trump to say, well, what is your community doing to support it? You want me to help. Don't ask for hands out if y'all are not doing a hand up. So we all have a responsibility to show Trump how necessary this is for him to do it by what we do to support
absolutely,
UNCF.
Absolutely. And that's really the point, folks. The information is on the screen. We want you to make sure that you are going to your phones, going online, and supporting this UNCF Scholarship Drive. God bless you. And thank you, Reverend Sharpton.
Reverend, always good.
All right, be blessed.
Y'all look at the screen and support. Show them we support ourselves.
Absolutely.
My name is A.Curtis Farrow, and for those of you who don't know me, yes, I'm the executive producer of McDonald's Gospel Fest. Hallelujah. I get the opportunity to introduce my little sister. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you all a legend and the great, the Duchess of Gospel Music, our very own Dr. Emily Cissy Houston.
Oh, he would not come down. Come on, tell me, thank you, Jesus. No.
We are a 101-year-old credit union providing financial services to people in need in the city of New York, in all of the 5 boroughs, in Long Island, New Jersey, and now across the world. We are a $2.4 billion organization, and having achieved 101 years of service, it is my distinct pleasure to now serve as their chairperson, and I bring you greetings from its board of directors. All of us are volunteers, by the way. and our staff, almost 800 people who are providing services in branches across the city. We are fully committed, and we are here tonight as a lead sponsor for the event. So, thank you. It's my intent that while the board and the credit union remains viable, we will be here every year to provide support in this cause. For those of you who are sitting out there today on Easter Sunday and watching this show, there are 400,000 members in the Municipal Credit Union. If any part of you are sitting there listening and want to augment what we've already done as sponsors, I urge you as your chairman to please do that. Pick up the phone, do what you have to do. People helping people is what we know about. So on behalf of the Municipal Credit Union, all of the members who are out there listening on television land today on Easter, please pick up the phone and make a donation. We sorely need it. Thank you so very much.
Good evening, everyone. It is indeed an honor for me to be here this evening, representing the Linden Seventh-day Adventist Church. I must say that this day is a fitting day. Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, is a fitting day for this celebration. Because in the Adventist Church, we have a saying that we live by, and that saying goes like this: education is redemption. Can you say that with me? Education is redemption. And for that reason, the Adventist Church have operated for more than 50 years, one of the historical black colleges here in the United States of America. That institution name is Oakwood University down in Huntsville, Alabama. I read somewhere in scripture that says that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that's why the Apostle Paul warned us and said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Education is redemption. It is redemption from poverty. It is redemption from ignorance. It is redemption from misinformation. And it is redemption from rising above the vicissitudes of life and going into the abundant life. So I pray today that as we have come together to support the United Negro College Fund, that we do so wholeheartedly, and we do so in a way that can continue this great legacy of supporting our colored young people all over this country to acquire higher education. Because education is redemption. Let's share redemption with somebody today as we do so, because education is redemption. Thank you.
It is time for a resurrection of support for UNCF and the work that they are doing, knowing that a mind is indeed a terrible thing to waste. We see it wasted when 35% of black children grades 7 to 12 have been suspended or expelled at some point in their school careers compared to 15% of whites. We see it wasted when African Americans are incarcerated at nearly 6 times the rate of their counterparts. There must be a resurrection. We see it wasted when we realize that together African American and Hispanics comprise over 50% of all prisoners, even though they make up approximately only 1/4 of the entire population. There must be a resurrection. We see it wasted when we see that approximately 1 in 100 African American women are in prison, and black and brown girls leads as victims of sex trafficking. There must be a resurrection, for a mind indeed is a terrible thing to waste. So as people of faith, I am asking the village to once again raise our children. I'm asking the village to step up to the plate and provide support for higher education by supporting UNCF. Let this be your part. Let this be our part in celebrating Resurrection Sunday by envisioning the resurrection of a new day in the lives of our children until justice has cried her last tear. God bless you.
What a great opportunity to join you today to raise funds for the United Negro College Fund. I have served as both a pastor and a college professor for many years, and I know the value of a good education. There is no account of Black history and education in America that can be complete without an examination of the rivalry between two men, Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Both of these men and their philosophies heavily impacted our concept of education today. Booker T. Washington believed that it was economic independence and the ability to show ourselves as productive members of society that would eventually lead us to true equality. He believed that industrial and vocational education was the most effective way to empower African Americans. W.E.B. Du Bois, on the other hand, he was the first Black man to earn a PhD from Harvard University. He maintained that quality education, quality higher education, was the best way to empower Blacks. He believed in something called the talented tenth. He said if you can take 10% of all of Black people, educate them, and put them into positions of power and responsibility, they will be in a position to bring others along.
You see, education was, is, and will be the key to quenching my curiosity. It will quench my thirst of understanding the mind and neuropsychiatry. But it does not only work for me, it can work for others as well. Those who are interested in understanding how the government is able to regulate a large group of people, or they're interested in veterinary science, art, literature, archaeology, paleontology, and so much more. But getting an education nowadays is a pretty penny. The United Negro College Fund has decided that they will take on the responsibility of letting students reach their academic goals no matter their financial status. They have also taken on the role of creating a tumultuous shift in that paradigm of money being a hindrance in getting an education. They have also decided to help with the removal of the stigma that we are an uneducated people, because they realize that in our minds can hold the cure for cancer or Alzheimer's, or the plan to help send resources that we take for granted to the uttermost parts of the world. They have also realized that we could be the ones that can help solve global warming. They also realize that we are able to go to school no matter what our financial status are. And ultimately, they understand that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Thank you.
I didn't have to do it, but I did it anyway. 'Cause I really love you so much I took your place. I died for your sins, yes, I'm the one. Don't take it lightly what I've done. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Oh, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I left my throne, my purpose was the cross, shed innocent blood, I paid all cost. It was worth it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
That Jesus rose from the dead. Glory be to God. We can decree that he has risen just like he said. Somebody say he's not dead. He's not dead. Choir, you know that he's not dead, right? He's not dead. He's very much alive. So we decree the resurrection power in the lives and in the heart of all the people of God. We're coming to the end of this edition of Easter in New York. We thank you so much for watching, but I want to just pause to salute all the churches. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for all the churches, and we appreciate, I really do appreciate the commitment of all the pastors and ministers who have really helped to pull this together, and the music was off the chain. Let's give it up for all the choirs, ladies and gentlemen. All the choirs, just wonderful, wonderful. But I also want to really truly salute the New Jerusalem Worship Center. Let's give it up for our host, New Jerusalem Worship Center, right here in Jamaica, New York. And of course, let's give it up for my friend, Dr. Calvin Rice. Let's give it up. Awesome, awesome job, Dr. Rice. And of course, Easter in New York, a vision that we've been pursuing for many, many years. I just want to really salute the sponsors, because the success of this program, and certainly the outreach to support the United Negro College Fund, is as a result of these sponsors. Let's give it up for Touro College. And of course, MCU, the Municipal Credit Union. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for them. Let's give it up for Bhrags Home Care. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Perry Funding. HCCI, Harlem Congregation for Community Improvement. And let's give it up for National Allotment Insurance. We always want to incorporate both some of the corporations for their support and the small business. And of course, one of the corporations that's been very supportive of our community in so many areas over the years. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Macy's. We certainly appreciate their role and we appreciate their participation. Well, I must tell you, I'm really, truly inspired. But what really got me, you know, as we hear the various presentations and all the ministers and speakers did such an awesome job, is when the young brother came up and said, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the was that what he said? The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. No. He said the blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge. Come on, y'all, let's give it up. So, as we get ready for next year's production, I think the most important thing for everyone is really to know that what's important is our support for the United Negro College Fund. And I think the most important slogan, we got to walk away with, good one, Tahvis, but the most important slogan we must walk away with, and that is, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but it's an awesome thing to invest in. If you didn't write a check, ladies and gentlemen, I challenge and charge every one of you to write a check to let us support the United Negro College Fund. Once again, uncf.org. The information is on your screen. It's been on the screen all evening. We encourage your support. And by the way, if you have not gotten a copy of the Economic State of Black New York report, which talks about all of this and so much more information, please do so. Give us a call at the New York Christian Times, 718-638-6397. We thank you. God bless you. Everybody feeling all right? Everybody feeling all right? Everybody say Happy Easter. All right, God bless you until next time on Easter in New York.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.